Amber McIntosh is a singer-songwriter who lives in far north Queensland, and she has released several strong, emotional country pop singles. The latest is Wasted. We're going to talk about that and other things. Hi, Amber.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very much enjoying listening to your songs. And I thought I'd go straight to the new song and ask you what Wasted is about.
Wasted is actually based on kind of just heartbreak, and it's a typical kind of country song about getting your heart broken, falling for the wrong person, and just kind of like everything that plays out after that, indulging in alcohol or whatever it is. That's kind of what this song is about, and ignoring all the red flags, of course.
Well, there wouldn't be a song without red flags, I don't think, or that kind of song.
That's right.
Also the two meanings, I guess, of wasted on alcohol, but also wasted time.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
So did you write this one on your own, or did you have a co-writer?
No, this one I wrote by myself. Yeah. I write all of my own songs.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have the spark for it, does it take a little bit of time for you to work it up to a finished song, or do they tend to come out in a rush?
Actually, I'm pretty lucky. As soon as I get the hook going in my head, I can sit down and finish a song in about 10 or 15 minutes. So it's kind of one or the other. I'll either sit down and smash out 3 songs in one go, or I'll have writer's block for 7 months.
Yeah.
There's no in between. So when you're on a roll, you just sit down and get the songs out before you don't have any left.
Well, except I often think that sort of thing's like a natural fallow period. Like you bashed out the 3 songs, as you said, and bashed out sounds wrong. You created the 3 songs in a rush, but then it's like your brain's taken a little break, and that's just your rhythm. Some people might actually sit there and tinker for a while, and it might take longer for each song. They may not have a fallow period, but they're perhaps not producing any more than you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some people have that kind of steady pace where they can sit down, write a song 1 every week. I can do 5 in 1 week, and then my brain needs a break.
Yeah, there you go.
Overloaded and overstimulated.
So has songwriting been your main form of creative expression since you started, or were you writing other sorts of things or making other sorts of things?
Yeah. Actually, well, according to my mum, I have been songwriting since before I could write. She said that I would sit there and start just making up words, and then it would kind of flow into a little song. But then, obviously, as I got older, I'm mostly a songwriter, poet kind of. And then I found the guitar when I was about 13. Mm-hmm. And it's actually funny. I refused to pick up the guitar. Everyone encouraged me, and I just refused. Didn't want to play. I wanted to play the saxophone.
All right.
Yeah. And then after one lesson, that was it. I wrote my first song accompanied with the guitar, and I kind of just haven't stopped. It's kind of my go-to outlet, my favorite way of expressing myself.
Did you want to play saxophone because you thought it was cooler than guitar, or just was it like you like the challenge of it?
I like the challenge, and I thought it was cool. I mean, it takes a very talented person to play, a trombone or a saxophone. I can't. I tried, and I think that's why my mum and dad were like, how about the guitar?
Which is not an easy instrument either.
No, it's not. But yeah, and I think they were kind of just, it's the saxophone and drums. You kind of, unless you're living in an area where your neighbors are spread and you've got like soundproof walls, I feel like parents are kind of just more wanting to lean towards a quieter instrument.
Yeah, fair enough. So did you start off on a smaller size guitar because you were a teenager at the time?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was a nylon string guitar, so they're kind of they're a bit smaller anyway than the average guitar, but yeah. The fretboard was still pretty wide, so my little hands were trying to figure out how to form the chords. It was probably pretty cringeworthy for everyone to listen to for the first few months.
I think it's parents' jobs though to listen to instruments being practiced. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when did you start singing? Because you have such a lovely singing voice, and there's this beautiful tone to it, and it's not the sort of tone I don't think that just pops out. It's sort of a tone that needs a bit of life behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I've always been singing, I think. Mum said that I just sat down and belted out it was Jewel, You Were Meant for Me, and a Nora Jones song once. And apparently everyone just turned around. It's like, how is this coming from a 3-year-old?
Right.
So yeah, I've just always been singing. But touching on that, Mum had a lot of Nora Jones cassette tapes that I used to listen to on repeat, and that's kind of shaped how I sing. And a little bit into my songwriting as well. I mean, Nora Jones is just amazing, inspiring. But that's kind of how, I learned to sing. And I feel more comfortable in my lower mid-range. And I feel like that was probably from being raised on that particular style of music as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, Jewel is not necessarily what a 3-year-old would listen to. It's obviously your parents were not, pushing you towards the Wiggles or anything like that.
No. Although I was a Wiggles fan and I still am.
Look, they're great songs.
I mean,
they're catchy and memorable for a reason.
Oh, yeah, totally. And they're great performers.
So on the country music side of things, who else were you listening to as you were forming your taste?
Oh, everyone. Massive fan of Dolly. I love Patsy Cline. Now the more modern kind of country as well. I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. I mean, for many reasons, and I'm sure everyone can agree, but I love the way he writes his music, the way he writes his lyrics is just, I will always be just in awe of the way he writes. But yeah, everyone. I love the traditional kind of country, the more modern style of country. Yeah, I'm just a big music fan anyway. So.
And I think that is it. When you love music, you tend to not discriminate against different types of music. It's like, it's all interesting, and especially as a musician, I imagine it's all feeding into ideas you might have for your own music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I even went through a metal phase, I'm pretty sure, at one point. So all music is good music. Yeah, everything appeals to everyone differently. For me, it's just all the music.
And did I see something on your social media about you doing like a TikTok duet with Morgan Wallen or something like that?
Yeah. I'm just dreaming there, but I wish.
If he put it out there for people to do duets with, then yeah,
absolutely. Might stumble across there one day.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Who knows? Now, circling back to Wasted, you filmed a video clip for it in Cairns by the look of it. What a beautiful spot to film. And your previous clip was also filmed there by the look of it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So for this one, we flew Jay Zini up from Sydney, which I am forever grateful that he made the trip up. And we kind of just found a few little like hidden locations in Cairns, I think we did a lot of the filming out, I don't know if you're familiar with Cairns, but kind of in the rainforest. There's like this
Kuranda nice sort of area.
Yeah, well, towards like Crystal Cascades, which is in Red Lynch, but that kind of is at the bottom of Kuranda. So yeah, close to. But yeah, some beautiful little places. I mean, all of Cairns is beautiful. There's a whole different type of terrain here. You can go in one section and it's like you're out in the bush, and then you travel about 10 minutes and you're in the wetlands, and then you travel again and you're in a rainforest or the jungle. And yeah, Cairns is just interesting.
Yeah. Have you lived your whole life there, or recently? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was born here, and then I left for a little while to kind of just tour around Australia. But yeah, I feel like anyone who's ever lived in Cairns or was born in Cairns, we always find our way back here.
Well, it is spectacular. And if anyone needs convincing, they can look at your videos. But also in the video, I was thinking, you have to act. Well, at least in the Wasted video, you were acting out a storyline. And it's not necessarily something that a musician wants to do or knows how to do. But did you enjoy the process of acting?
It was fun. We had so much fun. We were all, which is hard because we're trying to act out a breakup music video, and the whole time we were all pretty much in tears laughing. There's a scene where Brandon and I are trying to have this big toxic fight, and we just couldn't look at each other without bursting into tears laughing. And no, it was really fun, and some really great, I was working with really great people. So Yeah, lots of
And
fun.
you mentioned touring around Australia a bit. So from what I understand, in 2018, 2019, you were touring the Northern Territory and quite a few parts of Queensland. So was that something that had you planned to be away for that long, or it just worked out that way?
Kind of. I think kind of aiming towards a year. So yeah, that it worked out to be about right. Basically being a musician, the benefit is that we can pub hop or venue hop our way around the country. And I think that was just the best way to experience the country, in these little tiny caravan parks tucked away and little tiny back pubs that no one really sees. It was great. You really get to know all the locals and loved it and loved it. It was great.
Was there one gig or location that was more memorable than another? Or the others, I should say?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think I fell in love with Litchfield. So just out of Darwin. Yeah, I love it there. It's beautiful. And we stayed at I stayed in a little caravan park called Banyan Tree. And just, the people that were running the caravan park just had biggest personalities, so welcoming. And I think that's really makes it a holiday as well. Like when just people were so welcoming and so friendly and kind of invited you in as if you were part of the family within 20 minutes of meeting you. And I love that. So probably, Litchfield was my favorite place, but it's all beautiful. Longreach is beautiful. Winton is gorgeous. Everywhere.
Yeah. But it's logistically quite tricky though, because they are long distances and especially in the Northern Territory. I've driven a bit of the Stuart Highway. It's 130 k's an hour. It's a little bit hairy.
Yeah, I know. That shook me up a little bit, crossing the border and seeing the speed limit was 130. I was like, really?
And it used to be unlimited from what I understand.
People tell me that, and I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it is quite an adventure. So when you set off, were you just thinking, oh look, I'm just going to open myself up to whatever happens?
Pretty much, yeah. So I was traveling with a couple of friends, and we kind of had based, I think one of the guys that we were traveling with, he kind of booked a few certain gigs, and then the rest of it, we was just winging it in between. So I think originally we stopped at Daily Waters, which was a great experience. If you haven't been to Daily Waters pub, please go, because you'll understand when you get there. And then we kind of booked things far enough apart that you can just wing it. And that's exactly what we did. And it was so much fun. We did a few rodeos in between. So Brunette Downs Rodeo, which was so much fun. Loved that.
I have heard about Brunette Downs Rodeo through other means. It sounds like it's probably a wild time.
Wild. It's wild. It's great though. Everyone, it's good wild. It's not like nothing bad really happens. It's just everyone has a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on at all those rodeos between bulls flying everywhere, whatever. Where you live is spectacular. It is a long way from the rest of the country. You've talked about traveling through the Northern Territory and Queensland, but to think about being a country music artist, independent artist, and wanting to take your music to people, do you feel like it's trickier, or is it just as the internet made things easier and streaming's making things easier?
Absolutely. Social media has really, really helped, especially, music. It's really helped the music industry. But you're right, especially living where I live, it's quite a distance to get, I can't just drive down the road and be performing at Tamworth or anything, which is what I really want to be doing. But, if your heart's in it, you'll find a way. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting myself together. And I feel like a lot of musicians, because we have a lot of great talent here in Cairns, and a lot of people are doing the same. You find a way. You find a way to tour and travel if that's where your heart is. And just got to make sure that you've got a car that's reliable, because the one we had in the Territory was not. So the tire or the wheel fell off at one point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And again, not really the place you want to have it happen.
No, and it was on a public holiday right in the middle of the Woolworths car park. So we were kind of blocking everyone in. And it was pretty traumatic. It made for a great story.
That wouldn't be the Woolworths car park in Catherine, would it? It wasn't in Catherine.
No, that was in Darwin.
Okay.
It was in Darwin.
See, there's
Yeah.
in Catherine where the Victoria Highway meets the Stewart Highway, pretty much there's this Woolworths car park that everyone goes to.
I'm familiar. Yeah, no, I'm so glad it wasn't there. Just
Right
because
there, yeah.
at least in Darwin, I'm pretty sure it was the next day we could get into a mechanic, but it was makes for a good story.
Yeah. Well, yes, I had a car breakdown in Pine Creek, and that's where I realized how very isolated the places in the territory are from everywhere else. Yeah. I understand. But you mentioned quite a few artists in Cairns. Are there venues there to support you all?
Yeah, there are. It was a little bit tricky, obviously, with COVID, but I feel like everywhere in Australia kind of struggled. But we're really lucky here. You know, there's a lot of most of the venues around Cairns will really support artists around here. I can't even start rattling off the names because it's pretty much everyone here. It's a really nice community. All the venue owners, you know, everyone tries to help each other out. Even during COVID, I know that there were a lot of people that were playing kind of just for like a meal and some drinks, just so that we could all help each other out and get people back into the venues. And you know, no one was really turning over much money, but now that things are starting to pick up, they're really looking after the artists around here, which is great. It's a really nice community up here.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you, but it is an international tourist destination. So, therefore it has taken a hit, but it's good to hear people are coming back. And if anyone is traveling there, that there's live music available.
Absolutely. Almost every night of the week now, you can find somewhere with live music, which is really great. It's kind of getting back to how it was. Kind of, I shouldn't say that because I don't think anything's really ever going to go back to the way it was before COVID, but it's starting to get better, much better is what I should say.
And are you thinking that just in terms of numbers of people who are coming to shows, it's just not, you're thinking it's not going to come back to the level it was?
Oh, I just think in general, like life is just going to be different. You know, you can definitely tell that more people are, especially during the flu season and everything, I think a lot of people are wanting to stay in unless they really have to come out. You know, whereas before COVID, especially Cairns, every night of the week it was packed. There would be crowds of people because obviously Monday nights are like hospitality nights, and then Tuesday they'd have something, and Wednesdays, and most people were heading out for dinner, and then they were heading out to see a band or go out for a dance or something. Whereas now, understandably, I think a lot of people are kind of staying home a little more during the flu season. Yeah. It's starting to pick up now.
Yeah. And it's, look, again, such a beautiful place. People should go check out the live music and check out your live music because I have seen on your social media that you do play gigs fairly regularly. So Wasted has just come out. Are you an artist who's trying to release on a particular schedule, or you just do it when you can?
I'm kind of just when I can at the moment. I am actually working on an EP now. We've got a few tracks that just need vocals put down, and then I'm really excited to actually give a release date for that. So I do have some scheduled stuff, but prior to that I've just been let's just release a song kind of girl. But no, I'm getting on a schedule now.
And
so I can be more reliable for fans and followers. Yeah,
well, that's exciting news. Is your producer local, or are you doing the post-COVID thing of working with someone who's not nearby?
No, he's very not nearby. He's actually located in Nashville.
All right.
So but it's good. Like I said, social media has really come a long way and really helped musicians kind of grow, you know, because like you wouldn't have been able to just shoot a message through to someone on the other side of the world and be like, hey, let's make a song together. Back 15 years ago, you'd have to actually fly over there. Whereas, now it's just a click of a button, really. So I'm really, really lucky I get to work with him. He's done all of my releases, and he's doing my EP, which will be coming out soon.
Will the EP be song well, I'll rephrase that. Did you write songs specifically for the EP, or are you a songwriter who tends to just collect a whole lot of songs and then go to them when you want to record something?
I a bit of both, but this one I am actually putting a lot of work into. So I'm hoping will actually kind of tell a story as you listen, because I love that. I love back, when you would buy a CD and you'd be able to listen to the first song all the way through to, song number 12 or 15 or however many, and go through all the different emotions and storylines to the end. I love that. That's art.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm aiming for.
And speaking of art, I believe your mother is an artist.
She is an artist. Yep. She's an amazing artist. I wish I could give you a site to look at her stuff, but she's actually just going through and rebuilding her website. So.
Okay.
So
you grew up around art, and do you think that had a big influence on you perceiving that music was something that you could pursue? Because sometimes we think, that's not the conventional thing to do. I'll do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, because my mum is also actually writes poetry, or she used to write poetry. She still does, but not as much as she used to. But I think being surrounded, by someone who's really passionate about art and writing poetry and music and stuff really gave me the confidence and comfort to follow that kind of passion and dream. There was never, ever any doubt that I was ever going to be a songwriter or a musician. I didn't know if I would succeed, but I was definitely going to try. I definitely can thank my mum for that, because never doubted me once. She just told me, hey, that's what you're going to do. And I could tell because she followed her passion. So that, definitely helped me build my passion.
Fantastic. Well, your passion has led to some great songs, and we have those songs, and there are more coming, which is very exciting. So, Amber, it's been lovely to meet you on Zoom and find out about your songs. I look forward to the new ones.
It was lovely to meet you too.